Oh yeah, now you look super cool.
I look cool,
Yeah,
right?
you look cool. Yeah, wow. All right, well, here we are again at the podcast studios with Mr. Amazing.
Podcast studios?
Podcast. This is a podcast studio. It's not?
Okay.
What is it then?
I don't know. It's starting to look like a taxidermy office
It's
or
look,
something.
I know. I just got one of my deers back. I know. For you hunters out there, you're thinking, man, that is great. Anyway, so we're U2 Ministries, and we're doing some serious, just got back from vacation. So we have a busy schedule this month when it comes to hygiene and going into some new prisons. From here to the end of the year, it's going to be quite hectic, which I like it. The
Oh
hectic,
gosh, I like it.
the hectic to better. So I am Mr. Amazing. What makes me amazing is Jesus. Jesus is the only thing that makes me amazing. It's his performance, not mine. Because if it was my performance, I wouldn't be amazing. I'd be ridiculous. That's what it is.
Mr. Ridiculous.
Mr. Ridiculous. We'd have a whole different scenario right here. Kim's telling me we need some gray hair on this thing, and if you can't see it, that is a silver mustache. And this
Looks
is
like him.
This is my cape. Anyway, so who are you? For the people that don't, just tuned in.
I'm Kim, and today I'm cool.
Nice glasses.
Yeah, I got these at Disney World.
Oh, you did? Wow.
Yeah, see, they have like the little ears.
Oh.
Yeah. No, my name's Kim.
Oh, you don't want to wear them?
I can't see.
Oh, okay. Put your regular
I
glasses
can't
on.
hear you. My glasses aren't on.
That's funny.
My name's Kim. I am a justice impacted individual. I don't like to say I'm in recovery. I would like to say I'm delivered.
Okay.
Almost 15 years now. Delivered from all the addictions, drugs, sex, lifestyle, you name it. And I am just, I think I'm just a humble servant of the Lord.
Okay.
For sure. I have some amazing things going on in my life right now. Remember, last podcast, I wanted to say this to you, but I figured I'd save it for the podcast. Last podcast, we were talking, and I said, I feel like God is bringing me through a season, and I don't know what that season looks like, but he's preparing me for a season because things are just happening in certain ways.
Boom.
Boom. Boom, boom. So I can put the little things on there. Boom, boom.
Boom, 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 boom,
Boom,
boom,
boom,
boom.
boom. So, yeah, I guess a new season's blowing in, I guess. I'm moving up in my job, my career, which is a big, big deal
Yeah.
for,
good for you.
someone who has lived the life I live, walked the roads I've walked, and come from the places that I'm talking to you. We've all been, and I will say that if I ever get to meet any of you, which I will, I don't ever want to
Yes, you
hear
will.
anybody say that God can't get you through it and God can't give you something better, because holy cow, he can. It's just not going to look exactly how you would think, be all
Never gonna look
perfect
that
and
way.
hunky-dory. It's going to come with some sacrifice. There's some sacrifices I'm having to make, and it's going to come with some humble pie. There's some pie I'm having to eat right now, and but there's a lot of blessings, a lot of lessons, which
Yeah.
is all good. It's all about edification.
Yeah, and I think God wants to bless you.
I think
Right?
so too,
not that you're
man.
perfect, but you're making good choices. You're still reading your word. You're trying to follow the Lord, and you know what, and it's not that you have to, but you want to, and God's blessing you through that, which is great.
Yeah, through my willingness. I agree with
Yeah.
you. You know what? High five. I'm going to take that. Because, 2 seconds ago, I was all,
Yeah, you were. Yeah, she wasn't doing that bad. Yeah. It's crazy on podcast day, like things can get hectic that don't have anything to do with the podcast.
at all.
It's
Do you
like-
see how I look? This was I'm going to go in for a dental cleaning, so I'm just going to throw my hair up and move because I had to get up at 4 to beat traffic, and I
Oh.
still was late to the point they had to reschedule my dental appointment. Ran through all these crazy obstacles.
Okay,
and
and
then-
then that's your hat you wore?
Well, it's because I just tied my hair up.
Okay. So I learned this in the prison system that because I'm dealing with girls. So if you ever see a girl with a hat on, it means that her hair's dirty.
Well,
So what is that then?
I washed my hair last night.
Oh, you did?
I didn't
So
wash
you
it
just
today.
decided not to comb it, so you put the bandana on it?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's going to get me in trouble over there, Woodman. I know it.
I
Just leave her alone.
Yeah, I didn't. Thanks, women, ladies. I didn't brush it.
Yeah, it's okay. It's no big deal. It's no big
Who
deal.
brushes their hair for a dental cleaning? I mean,
Yeah,
they're
I
going to
don't
be
know.
getting all that stuff
No,
all
I
over
don't.
you.
I got me a haircut.
I see
I
that.
know. I got me a haircut from the blonde Barbarette.
She's doing good.
She is doing good.
So
Good for
super
her.
proud of her.
Yeah, she is doing good. She's going to come to the podcast here maybe the first week in November.
Oh, nice.
And we have a girl that's going to come in a couple weeks, so you're going to love her.
Oh, nice.
Lillian, you're going to love her.
I'm going to have my questions ready.
Yeah, have your questions ready. And I am going to be back at Lockhart here next Tuesday. And I'm going to meet with the girls that we're going to interview and give them the questions a heads up so they can, kind of, just so I don't like, boom. Give them a chance.
Exciting.
Give them a chance to get nervous. So anyway, I'm glad you had a good week. I was hunting this week.
I know.
Right, I went to Idaho and went hunting with my grandson who is 10.
Poor Pooh Bear.
Yeah, it's all right. So we wanted to get him a bear, and we did get him one. We went with Outback, or not Outback. Back 30 Outfitters.
Did they watch the podcast?
They do.
They're
Joey
gonna get
and
upset
Rosa.
that you didn't
No,
say it right.
they're going to understand that because we got their hat right up here on top of the mannequin. Anyway, so you know what? I was really surprised that my kid would let me take their kid at 10 go all the way to Idaho, just me and him.
Why?
Yeah, it's a long ways just to go bear hunt. I mean, it's a little, it's tough.
No,
Anyway, they
but
did.
you're Mr. Amazing.
I'm telling you, man, I had the greatest time, man. God bless me so much. Just me and him. He did fantastic. Never gave me a hard time whatsoever.
That's
He could
awesome.
handle the terrain. It was great. There was a day where I actually got a little emotional. The last day we were together, right? He's like, Grandpa, don't turn this into a sad thing. I said, this is not a sad thing. This is the greatest day I've lived in a long. I even told him it was the greatest day because it was. Because you know what, how far you've come and you know what you've done your whole life when you get to be my age. And then just to sit there and watch him catching some fish and thinking, you know what, God, you have been so good to me and I didn't deserve it. But you know what? Thank you for today. And then you know what? Every morning, except for one morning, we got up and we prayed. And then one morning I missed the prayer and I felt guilty. About 3 hours in, I was like, oh no, I forgot to pray. So anyway, I did a little prayer. And then when I saw Brody again, he's like, Grandpa, we forgot to pray this morning. I said, I know we did. But that was okay because we regrouped. And then, when Brody got his bear, we were just thanking the Lord for that. And I know that seems weird, whatever, but you know what? God was there and it was a great blessing.
So was his reaction whenever he got the bear?
His reaction was, he was a little bit nervous shooting, right? Because you're like having to shoot almost straight up in the air. Anyway, but he was good. He was good. And then, he had help skin it and stuff, which I didn't know if he was going to do that, but he did. And then when he shot his turkey a couple days later, now he was super excited about
Over
that.
the turkey?
He was super
Why?
excited. I don't know. He just was. I guess because he kind of shot through some bushes and then it looked like he didn't hit it. But I thought, man, I think he hit it. And then when he came around, you got it. He's like, I got it. Then if you saw the pictures, like he's holding it over his shoulders when we're leaving, it was super cool.
So was that the first time he'd ever shot anything?
No.
Okay,
No.
so I was wondering that, like, what was it like to shoot a bear for someone who never killed anything, but if he's already
shot deer.
he came out the womb killing something.
Well, he didn't come out the womb, but his dad takes him hunting, and he lives around here, so he does some deer hunting.
Okay.
But for bear hunting, and then the hike in there was like 950 yards. It
So
was
it
easy.
a big bear?
It was it was probably 150 pounds maybe. So it wasn't the biggest bears. Maybe it was about 150 pounds.
That's 10 pounds heavier than me.
Yeah. So.
Is he gonna stuff it?
Yeah, he's gonna make a rug out of it, and then we're gonna take his turkey and hang it flying in on the ceiling. It's pretty cool. Anyway, let me tell you something that I did see while I was hunting. So the people that we stay with, they're super hard workers. They're young kids, right? He's 30. I think Rose is probably 28, 27. Super hard working people, super hard. dedicated to what they're doing. They've risked it. They've went out on the limb to do what they want to do. They're working hard. They're taking care of stuff. There's a lot of stress to it, but they are doing fantastic. I'm super proud of them, just because it's nice to see young people taking, having dreams and going for it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Rosa doesn't know this, but she's probably one of the only Proverbs 31 girls that I know.
That's a big accomplishment.
You know what?
That's the biggest compliment. That's the best compliment.
It probably is. So if she doesn't watch this, she'll never hear me say it.
Darn.
But, the thing about it is she takes care of her kids. She's financially pays attention. She's loves the Lord, teaching her kids about the Lord. They grow stuff. So, she knows how to can stuff and all the other stuff. And she's very hospitable.
Yeah.
Like, people are in their house all the time because they do hunts, right? And they're very, very good at it. And they treat people really good. Anyway, she's probably, I'm telling you, I thought about this the other day. And I know a lot of girls in the prison system, and outside, right? But I want to tell you what, she's legit as far as that Proverbs 31.
Dang, that's the best
Right?
compliment ever.
And then her husband, Joey, he's the opposite of that. No, he's not. He's not. He's a good dude, right? He's good and he cares about people. And, he's really good at hunting. He's really good at hunting. He's really good
Well,
at
that
it.
family will never go hungry.
Yeah. They're never going to go hungry, no. And then for me taking Brody, who's 10, Joey was super good with him. Super good. So I was really proud of that. And it was just one of those times I was glad to be able to share that with them, because I've known them for a long time. And it was just cool to have Brody there and a grandpa there in that setting. And they really treated me good. So anyway,
Aw.
that's the hat. And that's Joey and Rosa. If you ever want to go hunting, they're out there in Idaho. Back 30 Outfielders.
Go
Look
to
'em up.
Idaho.
Go to Idaho. It's okay. It's good stuff.
It is good
Yeah.
stuff.
Anyway, that's a little shout out. And then there's another guy. What's his name? It's not Dylan. It's not Dexter. It's, what is that kid's name? I was going to give him a shout out too, but I guess I can't even remember your name.
Darren?
No, it's a little
Daryl?
different. I know. Maybe it'll come to me. Anyway, you know who you are. A little skinny guy, a little scrawny guy.
Starts with a D.
Dakota.
Dakota.
Dakota's it. How could you not remember that?
This is
Dakota giving you a shout out because he told me the other day he subscribed to our podcast. Like, okay.
yeah.
So if you
Hello,
don't-
Dakota.
Dakota.
Thanks for subscribing.
Yeah. Dakota's from Utah.
There's a lot of boulders out there.
Yeah. But he's a nice kid. He's a hard worker too. And he's like I don't even know if he's 18, 19, 20 years old. Good kid. Anyway, so you got a scripture this week you've been working on?
Oh, I do.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Let's see. I saved it in my notes. Because, going through a new season, I'm going through a transitional
Okay.
period.
Yeah.
And there's so much good attached to it, but there's like stress. Change is hard.
Is there stress or are you just making it stressful?
Maybe I'm making it stressful.
But I think we all have a tendency to do that.
Yeah, I think I'm making it stressful because it's change for one.
Okay.
And it's something brand new, and I want to be like, I have a really bad habit of, if I'm doing something, I want to be the best. And so I'm going to apply myself and I will work myself to death, And so I kind of have like that in the back of my mind, I guess my own expectations of like, what if you're not the best, kind of thing. Because I'm about to be around a bunch of really, really, really smart people.
Well, Jesus thinks you're the best, so that's okay.
That's right.
Right?
So I'm just going through my own thing. I guess you're right. In some ways, I'm probably making it way more grandiose than what it actually is, because I'm the one in the middle of it. And so like it's scary. And it is a lot different than anything that I ever imagined for myself. And it is a lot different than anything I've ever lived. And I'm going to go for it. I'm going to risk it for the biscuit,
Yeah.
And I'm going to go for it because I don't think that God would have put that in my path if it wasn't for me.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
The way it all came about, because it is something that I wanted to pursue, but I always said, I'll do it after I graduate. and the opportunity just happened to
Before you graduate.
before
It's
I
even better.
graduate. Yeah.
Even better.
And I don't have to work on graveyard shift
Yeah,
anymore. So now I
fantastic
have
for
to
you.
switch my sleeping habits back to normal.
Yeah.
But so because I'm going through a lot, right? I picked out something that is out of Romans 5, 3 through 5. And I actually had the NIV version this time. I usually do King James, but so not only so, but we also glory in our sufferings because we know that suffering produces perseverance, character, and character, hope. And hope does not put us in shame because God's love has been poured out into our hearts through the Holy Spirit who has given hope that to us. So yeah, it was kind of about my scriptures. Everything's kind of been about focusing on God's peace and his will in my life and trying to transform the anxiousness and the self-doubt and the disappointment that I've had attached to this really great opportunity into something and turn it into a positive, right? Change my perspective on it. And, just my big thing today has just been laugh it all off,
Yeah, it's okay.
It's all right. I do know, I always used to hear whenever I was in prison, there was this little couple that would come in to do services, and you always used to say, there's no pit that you could ever find yourself in that God's love isn't deeper, So I'm just going through a changing of the season right now, and I just know that it's all gonna teach me something. I'm gonna grow from it. I'm gonna grow my faith from it, especially if I put my sights on the Lord. So that was what my scripture was.
Yeah, got to be excited instead of scared. You got to be
Yeah, I am
right?
excited.
Because we've been working on some of these lessons about, seek him first.
Yeah.
Ask him, right? And then last week, because there's always people telling you can't do it. So you have to get past those voices in your head that are saying, you're not smart enough.
Can we do a lesson on that? We didn't get that lesson. Well, I guess we did, where we talk about when others say you can't do it, God says you can. Well, what about when you say you can't do it?
Yeah, when you say you can't do it, that's usually it's because you're listening to some lie or somebody's told you something.
Yeah.
Right? Your insecurities. We need to get past the insecurities. If God's putting it out there, you should risk it.
Yeah.
Because how many times have I said this? Some of you and me too have risked the dumbest stuff ever. Yeah. We'll risk all sorts of stuff. I like to go back to the methamphetamines thing. Not that I'm going to do that, but you don't know who's cooking this stuff. You don't know who's making this stuff. And it's more than likely it's not a professional chemist in a nice,
it's not
perfectly clean place.
And a lot of there's like battery acid, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, who knows what's in there? And then we're, sticking that stuff in your arm or whatever. Yeah. I mean, you'll risk that, but then the stuff that God has for you,
true.
We get all nervous, we get all afraid. It's going to go with today's lesson too. Sorry.
I just want y'all to know, before the cameras turned on, Tom was being a bully, and he was like,
"It was not."
I was just telling him all the stuff that I had going on. He's like, all the hard work I have to put in. He's like, you know what? Wouldn't it just be easier to just go turn back?
Oh yeah.
Turn back, and I was like,
that wasn't a bully. That was sarcasm. I was telling him, why don't you just drop all the good stuff that's going on and just go back to doing dope? I mean, why would you want to do that? The thing about that is because I put a lot of posts last week on Facebook, but one of them was, I never really talk about sobriety for me because it's been so long, right? Yeah. It's been like 25 years. But then I put, if I wouldn't have quit drinking 25 years ago, I wouldn't have had what happened last week. If I was still drinking, no way would my kid let me have their kid taken. There's no way. Sure. I would not have the finances do it. I'd be totally doing something that was ridiculous. You know what I would be doing? My circle would be super small.
Yeah, well, you'd be on the couch with a big old beer belly.
I probably would be on the couch.
Getting sauced.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
I get
it. We trade things of God for stupid stuff.
Yeah, if I wouldn't have gotten serious, and I still would have gotten out. I would never would have moved to Austin to start a completely different life, and I would probably be dead because I would have been the person putting needles in my arm again, and
Yeah.
there's fentanyl and everything, so I would have died.
Yeah. It's
You
just
know?
not, it's just, this is way better.
It's
Just
so much
way
better. It's a lot of hard work, ladies and gentlemen.
But
I just want you to know it's a lot of hard work, but it is so much better on the
it's
other
not
side.
hard work getting drunk all the time. It's not hard work,
Yeah,
having a
it is.
hangover.
Yeah, it
and
is because
coming
sometimes you have to
down
go out and hit
Yeah.
licks and
Yeah,
all
that's
kinds
crazy.
of stuff.
I don't want to ever do that again.
Me either.
So anyway, so I was thinking that was pretty comical. I was doing the 25-year sobriety thing. It's pretty crazy.
No, I thought it was awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I'm glad things are working out for you, which, I knew they were going
Well, I'm
to.
glad things are working out for you.
Yeah, they are. So I got some good news today. We're going back to Lockhart. Did I say that?
Yeah.
Going back to Lockhart.
I
gonna
hope I get
teach
to
a
go
class. Fixing to start my Halbert unit next Monday. Right, so I'm going to go from there to San
Are you going to
Saba.
take the podcast in there too?
Well, I don't know. First, I got to get in there.
Oh, okay.
Let me just get in there first, and then when
Okay.
everybody says, "Oh man, you're amazing," I said, "By the way," So we'll see how that goes. And then you know what, you girls at Woodman, I missed you last week, and you know what, we'll be seeing them tomorrow, but you won't see this podcast until next week. So whatever. Anyway, things are going okay. So, you want to dig into some scripture?
I do.
Okay, let's do that.
Let's
Let's
do
dig
it.
in some scripture. But before
get
we
my
do that,
Bible
we
out.
have to go to, it's chow time.
Shelter.
That's
I wonder if I
so
can slow it down.
You could.
Chow.
Chow time.
I like the chow time. I just want you to know. Pull my Bible up here. Where are we going?
We're going back to 1 Samuel,
Okay.
Samuel 17. So last week we were talking about, we were talking about how David was going. He said, "Man, I'll fight this giant," because David was looking at it through the eyes of the Lord instead of looking at it through the eyes of the problem, right? So the army of Israel, they were looking at it through the eyes of the problem instead of looking at it through the Lord.
Oh my God,
And
that
then-
sounds so familiar right now.
Yeah, and then David's just like, "No, I can do it." Then Saul, the king, the king says, "No, you can't do that." So you know what? We talked about how there's always somebody in our lives telling us we can't do it. We can't do this. We can't do that. You know what? That's just ridiculous because you can do it. Now, am I going to be an astronaut? No, I'm not going to be an astronaut. Could I be an astronaut? No, but I actually could be an astronaut. I
You
could go up in
could.
the blue, whatever.
I mean, Katy Perry went up there.
Well, Katy Perry's got a little bit more finances than Mr. Amazing, but anyway, there's things that the things that God's got for you, right?
Yeah.
Just like this podcast. Are we ever going to get it on Pando? I don't know.
Do we care?
We still kind of care because we want it
Oh.
to be on the tablets.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we still do kind of care. So anyway, we're going to go to Samuel again, 1 Samuel 17. And today we're going to talk about a couple other things. And here we go. So I'm going to go to Proverbs chapter 17, verse 23. And it says, "While he was speaking with them, suddenly the champion named Goliath," who he was speaking to, he was speaking to the Israelite army and to his brothers, I think. Maybe he's talking about the Israelite army. "While he was speaking with them, suddenly the champion named Goliath, the Philistine from Gath, came forward from the Philistine battle line and shouted his usual words, which David heard. Then all the Israelites saw Goliath. They retreated from him terrified." So a couple other things that I want to share about that. Why were they so terrified? They were terrified because they were terrified of a man. They were terrified because of the looks of a man.
Yeah, because he was big and he was intimidating.
He was big and he was intimidating. He was probably had a...
Oh, yeah. Could you imagine the big voice he
He
probably,
probably had a
had?
big voice, right?
Or if he had a little squeaky voice.
What is it? Like, "Hey, what is you guys?" Yeah, that probably would have been very good. I know. He'd go out on the limb. He's like, "You guys, I dare you to come over here with your spear and your sword." Yeah, I doubt if that happened. That's funny. You may have to cut that out.
Why?
No, we can't. We don't have to cut it out now because we're not woke anymore.
We're not woke.
We're not woke. So that is funny. But you know what? Sometimes, like in my life, if I look at things through because of man, why would I get terrified of anything because of what man does? Now, the Lord, he's the one that has the ability to scare me
Yeah.
because where he could send you and with things that you do. But for man, we should never be afraid of man. And a matter of fact, I have a couple scriptures for that. I know you're thinking, you do? I do. You want to go to Proverbs?
Yes. I could type it in really fast.
Go ahead. Go to Proverbs 29, verse 25.
Okay.
Okay. You have it? Or you want me to go? I'll go to another one.
I'm there.
Okay.
Proverbs 29, verse 25.
Okay.
Read it.
Yes.
Fearing people is a dangerous trap, but trusting the Lord means safety. Ooh.
That fits in perfectly with this.
It does, because
right?
it's so true.
Because they were a fear of man. What was it? And if you're a fear of man, it'll set a trap.
Set a dangerous trap.
Set a dangerous trap, which set a trap for them.
Or other translation would say like a deadly snare, I think is what it says.
Yeah. So if you're afraid of man or what man's saying or doing, how does that apply in the prison system? You know, afraid of the parole guy?
Yes.
You know, afraid of the warden, afraid of
the parole voting board.
Parole
panel is what they call it.
Afraid of other inmates, afraid of all sorts of stuff, because that could set a trap for you because you're not trusting in the Lord. You're trusting in the fear of man.
Yeah. And you know what? It kind of goes a little deeper for some of us that feel like trauma and stuff. Like a lot of the time, one of the biggest fears that we have are like fear of our old selves.
Yes.
Fear that is like probably one of my biggest fears is fear of my old self, because you always have that. Yes, when you become a new creation, that old self dies. You're a new creation, but you have to tap into that, you know. And there's always that chance that like you get off track emotionally or mentally or spiritually just a little bit. It just takes a little, and it becomes like a foothold.
Mm-hmm.
And the devil can get a hold of you, and then before you know it, your old self is back, whether it's like your old angry self, manipulative self, little white lying self, whatever. Mm-hmm. And it just so I always have like that fear, like, because you know what you're capable of. And so I think my biggest fear of man is like fear of myself.
Yeah.
You know, and that is probably one of the biggest giants.
That's true. But in the story of David and Goliath, the army was afraid of the man.
Yeah.
And David was not afraid of the man.
No.
He was not afraid of the man because he was serving the Lord. He'd be more afraid of the Lord than he was afraid of the man.
He was mad. He was mad. Someone was talking about his Lord.
Exactly. I know. Sometimes it irritates me too, because if I've went after some folks, not after them, but I've had some conversation with some people on the corner.
You went after some folks?
Not had to go after them, but I've had some conversations with people that are just like, when you say Jesus is a prophet, I'm irritated.
Oh,
when you say we serve the Lord, but yet Jesus is some sort of angel, no, that gets me upset. When you're telling me that Jesus isn't God himself in the flesh, yeah, we're having some problems. But anyway, so I want to go to Matthew 10:26.
Matthew 10.
Yeah, it
26.
says, "Therefore do not be afraid of them. There is nothing covered that won't be uncovered, and nothing hidden that won't be made known. What I tell you in the dark, speak in the light. What you hear in a whisper, proclaim on the rooftops. Don't fear those who kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul. Rather, fear him who is able to destroy both soul and body in hell." Yes? So we shouldn't be worried. We shouldn't be worried about what man says, but we do.
Yeah. What is that? What was that second part?
Actually, that was the part I was trying to get to. It's 27 or 29. Don't fear those who kill the body, but are not able to kill the soul. So we should be more concerned about what God's saying than what anything man says. Because how many times, I've said this 100 times too, is why do I care what the creation says instead of the creator?
Exactly.
It's way better to, It's way better to trust the Creator. Well, anyway, I got something else too. Let's go to Matthew 5.
Matthew.
And this may not even have anything to do with what we're talking about, but I'm just going to say it anyway. Why? Because it's our podcast.
We can do that.
And it's funny because somebody said the other day, said, "You do a podcast?" Yeah. It's like, "You're a podcaster?" And I just don't really know how to respond to that.
Anytime I say it, people are like, "Oh, that's cool." And
Yeah.
then that's it. They don't ask me what it's about.
Yeah, they never ask you what it's about. I'll actually tell them what it's about, and then people just walk off while I'm talking. Anyway,
Matthew 5 what?
Matthew 5:13.
All right.
You are the salt of the earth. But if the salt loses its taste, how can it be made salty? It's no longer good for anything but to be thrown out and trampled by men. You are the light of the world. A city situated on a hill cannot be hidden. No one lights a lamp and puts it under a basket, but rather on a lampstand and gives light to all who are in the house. But you know what? In 1 Samuel here, 17, what was happening? Those guys weren't letting their light shine. They were putting it under a basket. Only one guy was letting his light shine. The guy who
Little scrawny David.
the school scrawny David. Yes.
I just think of like a little awkward, scrawny, pre-pubescent boy.
Yeah, he's probably pretty tough though. If he's killed lions and bears, he's probably got some muscles on him.
You think?
Yeah, I do.
Aw.
He's probably tough.
Like, like shaggy hair, gangly.
Probably
The
not.
really weird voice whenever the
Squeaky. No.
Yeah, no?
I bet you he was still tough. Even though he was carrying cheese and stuff to the guys.
He had a Pete Fuzz mustache.
He probably did have one of those. I mean, he didn't have this thing going on. Well, anyway, so let's go up to verse number 20 to verse number 29.
Okay.
So David comes and his older brothers, and they were giving him a hard time because he said, well, it says, "I know your arrogance and your evil heart. You came down to see the battle." So then David says, "What have I done now?" protested David. "It was just a question." Then he turned from those beside him to others in front of him and asked about the offer. So you're like, the offer, right? People gave him the same answer as before. So what is the offer? So the thing about this too is Saul now is the king of Israel. And he's not really all that old, but he's probably in his 30s, maybe 40, maybe. Anyway, and it says earlier in the text that he is a head taller than everybody. So if everybody's like 5 foot, you got Saul, he's out there 6 foot, so he could see over everybody. So one of the guys would have to stand on a rock or something to see where Saul is, and Saul's over there, right? But Saul, he's chicken too. Goliath comes out to fight the battle, says, "Hey, send somebody with you." Well, Saul's not going out there. He ain't doing it. He should be doing it. He was the one that God appointed to be the king.
Yeah.
He should be out there, but he doesn't go out there either. And then earlier in the text, he did some stupid stuff and the Holy Spirit left him. So now now he's not relying on the power of the Holy Spirit, but he's relying on his own power. So what does Saul do? He starts throwing his money at it. He offers, let's go back to verse 25. Previously, an Israelite man had declared, "Do you see this man who keeps coming out? He comes to defy Israel. The king will make a man who kills him very rich and will give him his daughter."
Dang.
So he's bribing people to go out.
And giving his kids away.
He's giving his kids away. Well, obviously, nobody was going for his daughter because she must just not have been very good looking. I mean, how good looking do you have to be for you thinking, Goliath or her? I mean, she was no Bathsheba. You know what I mean? Anyway, I don't know that for a fact, but yeah, I better keep my mouth shut. The king will also make the household of that man's father exempt from paying taxes in Israel. Now you're talking.
That was a big one back then.
Now it would be a big one now.
I mean, yeah, that's true.
Could you imagine the president comes out and said, "All right, if you go out and fight that battle right there, you go against that guy right there, no more taxes for you and your family for the rest of whatever."
Fighting.
Then I'm thinking, huh? Like what? And then you may be thinking about it. But guess what?
Musket.
But none of them did it. They were still afraid. And a couple things about this. Isn't there always somebody trying to maybe bribe you, or maybe it doesn't even have anything to do with that. But instead of Saul going out being the leader who people could follow, they didn't. He didn't. He didn't. He wasn't a leader. They weren't following him because guess what? You need somebody who's a leader. And you know what I was thinking about this because I don't know about the church scenario, but is your pastor the leader, or is he just sitting there in the pulpit just preaching stuff? Is he out there doing it? Is he out there leading? You wonder maybe your church isn't growing. It's maybe because the congregation's waiting for the leader to get out there and do it instead of throwing money at stuff.
Yeah.
I know that's a tough one to say because it sounds negative, but some of that may be the truth.
No.
Or
that's
what happens if you're in the prison system and your warden's just not not really taking care of business? Next thing you know, your guards aren't taking care of business, and then things like that, and then the whole thing gets chaotic.
and that becomes a really bad environment.
Because your leader isn't the one out there doing it. Right now, I'm not saying that that the leader has to do everything, but in this case, when there's a battle, somebody's going to have to stand up and do it. And he does not do it. He cowers down. And of course, nobody else wants to do it. Because you know what? If your leader's not doing it, in any sports, you need to have somebody on your team who's the leader, who says, let's go do it. What about Braveheart? You ever watch that?
Oh my gosh, that is my favorite movie ever.
Yeah, now that guy was a leader,
William
wasn't he?
Wallace, he single-handedly built the whole revolution against England.
Yeah, he's a leader. I mean, there's been leaders that go out there. You know what? In America, they have on their uniforms, the flag is backwards, right? Why is that? Because they're running towards it.
They're charging into battle.
They're charging into battle. It makes the flag wave. That's what people do. Can you imagine, like, you got a bunch of guys in your platoon or whatever, and then nobody wants to go because everybody's chicken? No, man, you need to have somebody with some confidence that, no, we're going to get, and you stick together.
Yeah.
But these guys were all looking at it as individuals, because what does Goliath do? You just send one person out, because when it's just one person out, it's easier to get scared. It's easier not to do it. But if they all would have been, if there would have been a leader said, let's go, then it would have been different, right? Especially if you're following the Lord. Yes?
Yes.
So, I mean, that's crazy. He's offering his daughter? Like, come on now.
I don't think I would do that.
Yeah, that's crazy. Now, I better not. I'm going to get in trouble for that. But anyway, so he's throwing his money at it, yes?
Yes.
And sometimes it's not about the money. Sometimes it's about going and doing it.
Well, sometimes it's kind of like a cowardly way out in situations like this, right? Like you're the leader of this whole people. Like there's a lot of people depending on you, and they cried out, because that's what it was. The Israelites cried out for a king.
They did.
They always wanted one since the beginning of time, since Moses. They wanted a king, and God did that for them. That's why he's there.
Yeah.
Y'all wanted a king. Here's your king.
Yeah.
And he was appointed, and he had the Holy Spirit on him.
He did, but then we're going to go into this another time, because we're
okay. I won't say
too
too much,
bit,
but
But he changed.
Can you imagine sitting there, being the Israelites, and that is the king y'all wanted?
And he's afraid to go. He's
So-
just offering you stuff.
He's just offering you stuff, willing to put you at stake for and give you some money that he's going to give back, because you're not going to be alive to have it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, could you imagine being that Israelite? I don't think I'd be a very happy Israelite.
It wouldn't make because not everybody's going to get it. Just one guy.
Yeah.
It's not a team effort.
No,
it's just one. And then sometimes, you know what? Sometimes you feel as though you're alone. Sometimes as a Christian, sometimes you feel as though, man, where is everybody? But you know what? Come to find out that they are there, right? That there is a remnant. There are people serving the Lord. They are all over the place. They're not just sitting in a pew somewhere waiting for their leader to tell them. Some people just get out there and start leading.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes?
Yeah.
For me, if I didn't get out of the box, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. I had to get out of the box to get into the other box of the prison system.
Yeah, no,
right?
I agree. I can definitely relate. Do you know how hard it is to be inside prison, in that kind of social environment, and not be the cool kid, because you're the one that's doing. What I did in church.
Yeah.
And they all watch you. The guards watch you.
Oh yeah.
They watch you when are in that place of I guess status.
To see if you're a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I had a lot of people say I did, said it was all for show. It was just to get whatever, to have favor, but it wasn't. It was I was so on fire. If I wouldn't have done that though, where would I have been now? Where would I be now?
Well, you wouldn't be right here right now.
Well, no. And I
That's for
definitely want to
sure.
be teaching Bible studies
Probably
and,
not.
you know, dropping Bibles off to people. And
It's true. It's true.
I don't know. It would be different.
But you also didn't do it for the money.
No, I did it for
Obviously,
the Lord.
you did it for the Lord. Okay, let's look at it from a little different perspective here too.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So let's go over to. Okay, so then last week we were talking about Saul said, "No, you can't do it," and then David said, "I can do it because I used to fight bears and lions."
Yes.
So you have to remember what God's done for you, because there's another battle coming. There's another change coming. There's another thing coming your way. And then you have to remember how God's taken you from here to here to here to here to here. And now he's going to take you from all those to the next place.
Yes.
And he's telling you, if I've done this, God's going to help me through this battle. So then Saul has this. So then Saul said to David in verse 27, "Go and may the Lord be with you." So Saul, he ain't going with him. May the Lord be with you, because Saul's chicken. How many times people say, "Oh, that's you, that's you, that's you." There's people. I've seen people my whole life say, "I think God called me to this, and God called me to that, and God's called me this," and they never do it. Never. Well, why didn't you do it? Because you were chicken. You were chicken. And then you know what? For whoever's in the prison system now who's listening to this or watching this or even on YouTube, maybe God's calling you someplace, and you know what? You're just chicken. You're just chicken to go serve the Lord because you're worried about what everybody else is thinking, or somebody else says you can't do it. Or in my case, somebody would always tell you, you need to do this and you need to do that. You need to do that. No, you do it. Just think if we were all doing it, it would be great.
Yeah.
But Saul didn't do it. Saul was the king. He should have did it, but now he didn't do it, so somebody else is going to get his blessing. Boom. Right?
Boom.
Boom. Okay. So then Saul had his own military clothes and put on David. Right? There's always, here, instead of my clothes that I should be putting on to go fight the giants, I'm going to give you my clothes to go do it. I mean, what a wuss. I mean, really.
Do you know anybody like that?
I don't know anybody in San Saba like that at the men's prison. I do not. I do not know anybody over there.
No one.
Nobody. Right?
They're all manly.
They are all manly. Yes, they are. So Saul gives his own military clothes to David. He puts on the bronze helmet on David's head, and he has him put on the armor. David strapped his sword on over the military clothes and tried to walk, but he was not used to them. "I can't walk in these," David said to Saul. "I'm not used to them." So David took them off, right? Because they weren't meant for David. They were meant for Saul. And guess what, man? God's got plans for you. You got to walk through it. God's got you equipped. He doesn't have you putting somebody else's stuff on for you to do it. He's equipped you to do it. Right? God didn't say, "Hey, Saul, give David your stuff." No, he did not, because it doesn't fit.
That's good stuff.
Right? And then the people are like, "Well, you're in it." I'm in a place that I fit. Right? But if I put on the armor of other people's stuff, I would be missing my own calling. And it never works. I tried to be somebody else before, and it never works. And you wonder why you're not happy with yourself, is because you're trying to be somebody that you're not. That somebody else is saying, you need to be like this, you need to be like that. Well, I want to tell you what, you need to take all that off and just be you. What do you know? You know what David knew? He knew sling and a stone. That's what he knew.
This
And
is
you know
good
what?
stuff.
It is good, right?
Yeah.
But I get agitated by, there's so many Sauls out there telling you, here's how you need to do it, instead of being the leader. Okay, now let's change this before we end this.
All right, where are we going to?
There's a king that I know who did do it. There's a
Yeah.
king that I know who didn't pawn it off on somebody else. There was a king that I knew that stripped himself completely naked and hung on the cross for the forgiveness of our sins. He didn't just come down and pay somebody to do it. He didn't come down and offer something else for them to do it. He didn't say, here's my this and here's my that, just go ahead and do it. No, he did it himself. And he took the brunt of it. He went to battle. And you know what? There was people saying, you're not going to be able to do it. You can't do that. What do you think you're doing? The hardest battle ever, fighting death. And you know what? He did it and he conquered it. And he conquered it, so now we can do it. And now that's what Saul was missing. Saul could have, not that he could have been Jesus, no, but he could have been the king that killed the Philistines and brought the whole Israelites together and made it an amazing ordeal. But he didn't do it because he was afraid what man was saying. Where Jesus wasn't afraid of man, he loved man. He wanted to change it. And now that Jesus has done it, it gives us the confidence to do it. Right?
Right.
And then you know what Jesus says? Put on the full armor of God. That does fit, right? Because guess what? I can't fight the battle without Christ. And the reason why is because he's already done it. He's already fought the battle for me. He didn't just stand on the sideline and say, Tom, you got to get out there and do it. Kick me right in the butt and said, I'm just going to watch and see how you fall on your face. No, because he's went through everything. He knows the persecution. He knows what loneliness is. He knows what it's like to be beat. He knows what it's like to spend some time in prison. Maybe not a lot of time, but he knows the darkness of it. He knows what it's like to not have anybody put any money on his books. He knows what it's like to have all his friends to abandon him. He knows what it's like to get spit on, to get a crown of thorns, to get humiliated. He knows what it's like to get a sword in the side. You know, he knows what it's like just to have people roll off from him.
He knows what it's like to have his father turn his face from him.
He does, right? He knows that. So you know what? That's the warrior I want to follow. That's the one that I want to be behind, not the cowering Saul, who's a big baby, who's afraid because he's looking at things from man's point of view instead of the Lord's point of view. I mean, just think Saul, he just missed it. I don't want to miss it. I'm tired of missing it. I'm not missing it anymore. Well, I'm not saying I'm not missing it anymore because I still may miss it, but I don't want to. And I'm telling you, man, I had like an eyeball opening this week when I was hunting and spending time with my grandson. I just had so much time spending with the Lord, just thanking him for how gracious he was and how humble, or not humble, but how, you know, amazing he was and how much he loved me and he cares about me still. And no matter what I've done, no matter how I've ruined it or cussed him out or whatever the case may be, he still gave me times of like, it would have never happened if it wasn't for him. Yes?
Yes.
And I was just so grateful for that. But, you know, I'm following the Lord who's not afraid, who loves you unconditionally. Saul, he didn't love the people.
No.
He was afraid of the people.
He just liked the status.
He liked the stats. I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you that.
Yeah.
You know, Jesus isn't really just doing that.
No.
You know, he's not asking, you know, what is Jesus giving us? Mercy, you know, kindness. If Saul, he's just a chicken.
My peace I give to you, right?
Yeah, exactly. My peace I give. Yeah. You know, where Jesus, you know what? The toughest of all toughness. And then, you know, you think you have to be a wuss or you think you have to be a coward to trust Jesus. No, you got to be tough. And you know what? I'm going to go out on the line, JJ, because JJ, you're going to watch this. Because JJ. Because when you do the church services and, you know, because I've seen this happen before. Oh, bow your head, close your eyes, nobody looking around. You know what? No. Everybody looking around. Everybody got your eyes open. Everybody checking it out. Because if you don't have what it takes to stand up for the Lord when everybody else is watching you, then guess what? You're like a Saul.
Yeah.
Right? And I know it's not easy, but you're going to follow the Lord into battle. You got to stand up and say, I'm doing that. Not just like seeing around who's got their eyes open, who's going to say something mean to me, who's going to criticize me, who's going to say this, that. No, that's not following the Lord. Did Jesus do that? No, he did not do that. He went out there and said, "Man, I got something to do, and I'm going to take care of it, even though it's the hardest thing ever."
It is, you know what? It is the hardest thing ever sometimes, the Christian walk. Sometimes, because you're right. Like what you said earlier, it's so easy to do what we've always done. It takes a brave, brave person to follow God, because sometimes you got to make sacrifices and choices, and it's always for the greater good. It's never anything that God won't give back, but sometimes you got to leave it all behind. Pick up your cross and go.
Thanks for saying that, because I'm going back to this week, because my grandson and I were fishing one day, just me and him, the whole day. I'm telling you, the whole day. And I got something from the Lord that day that wasn't materialistic, that had nothing to do with finances. I got a grandpa who struggled, who's went through some hard times, who's got out of it, who trusted the Lord. And I got some peace, and I just got some love from Jesus. I don't even really know how to describe it, but there's something super cool about hanging out with your grandson, fishing out there somewhere else where there's nobody, and you're just like, God's just saying, Tom, this is how I feel with you.
Oh, that's
right?
So sweet.
It is, but that's how Jesus feels with me. When I'm fishing, that's how he's looking at me. Even I'm a grown old man, but to Jesus, I'm not. I'm just still like a little kid. And I'm reeling in fish, just having a great time, throwing them all back in, right? We'd catch them, take a picture, throw it back in. And I'm happy to see my grandson do it, because he was having a blast, and Jesus was having a blast watching us. And you could feel it. And I wouldn't trade that for nothing. I'm telling you, man, that's some good stuff. Those are the blessings. Those are the blessings that you're missing when you do drugs. Those are the blessings that you're missing when you're drunk. Those are the blessings that you're missing when you're not following the Lord. Those are the things you really want, but they're not coming your way because you're not doing what God's called you to do. I'm telling you. And sometimes it is difficult. Sometimes it is a struggle. Don't cry. I'm just trying to encourage you.
No, I'm encouraged.
I want everybody to have those feelings, because they're amazing. Right. And even when I went back to the lodge, Rose's mom was talking to me, and she said, "You're right." I said, "Man, I told her, I said, I can't even talk right now. I cannot talk, because if I would have talked, I would have lost it. Like, I'd have blown up just crying like a baby because it was like the greatest day ever. And what was it? It was just two people fishing. Well, how could that be the greatest day ever? You know what? It was better than any day that I've ever drank.
I guess beautiful. I guess the word would be beautiful.
It was beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. And again, God knew exactly where we were. He knew what bank we were on. And you know what? But yet it would have never happened if he didn't fight the fight. Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what I got today.
That's good stuff, right,
I don't
people?
want to be a Saul. I want to be Jesus. Not that I'm Jesus, but I'm being molded to be more like him.
Yeah.
Which is courageous, which is going for it. Yes? Same with you too.
Super encouraging.
Super encouraging.
It's super encouraging.
Yeah.
Especially what I got going on. That's so good. That's some good stuff.
It always is. All right, so what are we going to talk about next week?
Well, I guess, are we going further into the story?
We're going to go back a little bit farther again.
All right, then you tell me what we're talking about next week.
Let's go back to when Saul was chosen by God to be the king.
Oh, you mean like when the Israelites begged for a king?
You got to be careful what you ask for. That's next week's podcast.
Don't be asking for Mr. Right or Mrs. Right, because you don't know what you might get.
You don't. And the thing about it is, Jesus, the Lord already tells them what's going to happen, and they say, I want that anyway, which is nuts.
That's crazy.
But you're right. Be careful who, Joe Smokable, he may not be the right guy. He may not be. Sorry, Joe. Get it together. Yes. Right? All right. So why don't you encourage some folks today? You got something?
Yeah, you know what? There's a lot of seasons in life, right? Life is crazy. In there, if you're in prison, it's crazy in there. If you're not in prison, it's crazy out here. It's just two different worlds, right? But there is there's a blessing that comes with change. Like a changing of the seasons and circumstances and what you thought was a written out plan, because I'm a planner and I've planned everything, and right now I'm dealing with how things aren't going according to my plan. They're going great, just not on my timeline, what was comfortable for me, what I thought would be comfortable for me. Whenever you give your life over to God and you really give your life, like commit it, like all your time, you know, more than your 10% of the day, everything, you know.
You're not jumping in every relationship.
No, you're actually really, whenever you're locked in, that's what the kids say, when you're locked in, and you're not letting relationships and people and situations distract you from your purpose and your relationship with God. Watch what he can do. Embrace that change. Take that, I always tell my mom, Katie, the free fall faith, and just go for it. And like Tom was saying, you know, just risk it. Somebody has to be the one to do it. And who knows what's going to come from it? You know, you might be breaking. I know I have broken generational curses in my family just by being the first one to finally say, you know what, enough is enough. I'm going to take that leap of faith and I'm going to separate myself from that life. And that means letting go of family. That means letting go of a lot of things. And my life has been so much better.
But you are doing it. You're risking stuff.
I am risking.
Because there was a comment from a girl that said that, you know, she's having a problem with her daughter too, and you're encouraging by you walking through it, by being the leader, by being the not afraid, and by being able to share. It's encouraging other people to be that too.
You know, there's a lot that goes with that situation too, because there are other influences, you know, people that are attached to my daughter, and they might not like that I am so open about it, you know. Obviously I don't disclose names or anything, but there are not a lot of people that are happy. There are a lot of people that are not happy with me. And so a lot of the stuff that I say or the things that I share might not, you know, be okay for some people. And that's okay, because I did that in my past. You know, I made that happen. But I do risk that, because I'm going to speak out on the situations in my life that the Lord's touching, and the Lord's going to bless me, and he's going to, the things God's going to restore. I know he is. I know he is.
Yeah.
You know, it just takes time. But there's a really, I don't even know, it's a blessing, right? When you embrace your change. So if you're going through a season of change, maybe you don't really see that season right now, it just feels awkward, and just embrace it. Because 9 times, actually 10 out of 10, God's plan in your life and God's hand on your life is never comfortable, and it's never what you thought it would be, and it doesn't line up perfectly. In fact, it doesn't make sense at all. That's been my experience. So just give yourself the opportunity to grow, and just take your risk, embrace your change, and believe in the bigger picture that God has painted for you, because he definitely paints on a canvas way bigger than what we can see. So I think that would be it. I'm kind of going through my own struggles right now, so that's what I got going on. It's like just you're super encouraging for me today.
Maybe you're going through some struggles for yourself, but then for others too, because you're really pretty open.
Yeah.
And you know, what's it really matter what everybody else is thinking if you're helping somebody to get through a tough time in their life?
Yeah.
Right. So people are in a tough, dark spot, and here we are going, "What's up?" But you know, but encouraging people.
Yeah. It's okay.
It's okay. Yes, that's for sure. All right, so let's give a shout out to you girls at Woodman. That's Woodman. It's the we may need a bigger room soon.
I love that.
Yeah. And
keep coming.
Yes. And then JJ's been showing this in his I think he's doing a Bible study group, so he's been showing this, and they're going over stuff. So that's
congratulations on that.
Yeah. And then, like I said, we got into another couple prisons, and you know, we're excited about what God's doing.
I hope I get to meet everyone.
You will.
I hope I get to meet y'all soon.
You will.
Okay.
All right. Until next week, you know what? Be blessed. God bless you. And you know what? Get out there and be the leader and do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just do it like Nike.
Like Nike. All right. You guys
All
have
right.
a nice evening.
All right, bye.
Bye.